New conversation. Let's talk, think about it. Let's get it together. Together we can do it. Oh, out of the box. Think out of the box. Out of the box. Out of the box. Out of the box. Think out of the box. Out of the box. Out of the box.
Welcome to Touch the World Radio Show, Season 2 of the Out of the Box Podcast Edition. I am your host, Jay Got Soul. You are tuned in to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Out of the Box Podcast. Thank you to those of you that support this show every first Sunday. This year, you will see more of me, so stay diligent as we continue to grow. If you're watching or listening to this segment, I would like to ask you all to share this broadcast so we can reach as many people as possible. With that said, let us have a word of prayer. Dear God, thank you for another opportunity to share in this studio with our guest, Mike Cole. God, we ask that your presence fill this place. We ask that you allow us to speak to someone who needs to hear this show. God, we ask that you keep us covered in your protection. In Jesus' name, we pray, amen. This week, in the Mind Your Future with the Past in Mind segment, I want to share an encouraging story. Last week, I did a thing. I put my job on notice that I won't be returning to my 9-to-5. Not because there's anything wrong with the 9-to-5, but I was unhappy and not fulfilled. Now I'm excited to announce that I have accepted the call to coach and mentor the next generation at Sarah High School, where I graduated from. I'm excited about this journey because this is truly a full circle moment for me, hence the Mind Your Future with the Past in Mind. I'm grateful to my godfather and mentor, Coach Hadley, for counting me worthy to work alongside him in the Sarah's basketball program. With that said, we're going to need you guys' support, and we're going to try to get this state championship, so y'all tap in, and here we grow. Alright, you guys, so tonight's topic is fostering music. Our guest this evening is a phenomenal artist who survived the harsh lifestyle of growing up in a foster care system. I'm excited to catch up with him to discuss his journey with you all. So Touch the World family, help me welcome our guest, Mike Cole.
What's good, everyone? How you doing?
Yeah. All right, y'all. So, Mike Cole, we just want to ask you, get to know you a little bit and find out where you're from and where you grew up.
Off top.
Go ahead, tell us.
So, a little bit about me. I live in the city of Long Beach. Husband, father. I grew up in the city of Southgate. That is in between some cities over there. Yeah. I grew up in a foster care system my entire life, 6 months to when I emancipated at 19. I've been pursuing music since 17, 18, and I'm a hip-hop artist right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us who Mike Cole is?
Yeah, off top. Michael is an artist that is pursuing challenge in his life. Michael is an artist who's trying to be a voice for the voiceless, trying to tell the story of our generation, and just looking to inspire people and challenge people at the same time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what schools you attend?
I went to a couple of different schools growing up. I moved around a lot, but like my main schools, high school, I was at Southeast High in Southgate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I want to talk about how we met.
Yeah.
I love to talk about that story because it always brings out the interesting, dynamic of connections.
Yeah.
So can you share what you remember about us meeting the first time you met me?
Yeah, I believe it was at Crowd LA, correct? Yeah. I was doing a set with my homegirl, Mikey. She invited me out, and I did like a 15-minute set there. And after the set, you came up to me, or I came up to you. We were sitting down somewhere, and we just kind of connected through the connection of the foster care system that I was in, because you heard my story. I did a couple pieces around it, and it was up from there. We bonded through that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that too. because Cry Out LA, it's just a super dope group.
Yeah.
The collaboration, the collab. So yeah, there was a bunch of artists that came through, and when you came through, obviously I had to ask you because I heard you on God Complex, and that verse that you spit, I was like, yo, this dude is crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
thank you.
so I heard that, and then I saw you. I was like, okay, so I got to get him on a podcast, and then I seen you at I think it's Green Pine.
Yep, Green Pines event.
Yeah, the concert, and I was like, oh yeah, and that was like the solidifying time. He was like, yeah, I'm coming on the show.
Yep.
You know, let me know, hit me up. So yeah, that was a dope connection. So yeah. So we're gonna take our first break because I want you guys to hear his music. His catalog is super dope, y'all. So tap into this. We're gonna listen to Way Back by Mike Cole and Anthony, right?
Yeah, Anthony Gray.
Yeah. All right. So y'all tap into this and check him out.
Yep, Legendary Minds.
Yeah, way back, you know. Back with a level. They thought it was dead, we resurrected though. Yeah.
This little odyssey been so exhausted. Yeah. Everybody looking at a nigga like I lost it. Maximizing my gains to minimize all my losses.
It's about that time.
To show y'all niggas who the boss is. Super underrated, but I'm really dope. Signed in still like an envelope. I've been climbing this mountain for a real long time. Nigga, I'm a Billy Goat. 31, I'm feeling fine. 2 years ago, I was 29. Met a lot of scrutiny, got me in the mirror like, nigga, when you press the line, life been passing me, fate got tasking me. I don't really know if I really got the capacity. Scratch that nigga, doing my thing. I'm a rapper, shit to make out a boss that team. Searching for the most high spirit, need to clean. Rapping for a team, doing legendary thing. I've been walking with some faith that I conquer any dream. Still, listen, told y'all I was coming back then, but y'all didn't really listen. Nah, really listen. Nah, told y'all I was coming back then, but y'all didn't really listen. Nah, really listen. Told y'all back then I was coming, but y'all didn't listen. Nah, didn't listen. Nah, told y'all I was coming back then, but y'all didn't listen. No, didn't listen. No.
These days I don't feel like I got it.
Got it.
These days I got problems that feel bigger than bills inside of my wallet. Yeah. These days just feel like I'm sparring. Body in big bags and put all of the bodies in purpose. Blush every time that I walk in it. I got a lot of it. Mind thicker than Cardi is sicko mode. Every verse I'm just vomiting. The love that I live in is bottomless. I am the legend, I am the level. I am the foot that slides on the neck of the devil. Story is told, we never settle the score. I am the rebel, yeah.
I was coming back then, but y'all didn't really listen. Nah, really listen. Nah, told y'all I was coming back then, but y'all didn't really listen. Nah, really listen. Told y'all back then I was coming, but y'all didn't listen. Nah, didn't listen. Nah, told y'all I was coming back then, but y'all didn't listen. No, didn't listen. No.
You are tuned in to Touch the World Radio Show, the Out of the Box Podcast Edition. We are joined in studio with our special guest, Mike Cole.
Yeah.
So Mike Cole, all right, we're gonna get into it because this is just something that I feel like needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your journey going through the foster care system?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I said earlier, foster care, I was in it my entire life, right? My mother couldn't keep me due to various reasons, but drugs was one of them. And so from 6 months to 19, I was in it the whole time. I didn't have that much of a crazy story, but any kind of story in the foster care system is more than likely not a good one or a positive one, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I bounced around a couple different homes. When I was put in when I was a baby, I was with a lady. Her name was Brenda. She kind of took care of me for like 8 years. Caucasian lady, loved me like I was her own, but then she passed away when I was 8. And that kind of like messed me up as a kid. Not only just being in the system, because I was still, she was white, I was black, so every time I would go to school or go to the grocery store, I'd get all those crazy looks, like, what's going on here? I felt out of place, even though she loved me and her family loved me like I was her own. After that, I moved to a couple different homes. I lived with like a couple different other cultures. Like I got to live with my first black family for the first time, and I was like, "Alright, this is cool. I get to finally be around my people." As an 8-9-year-old kid, I was super excited about that. But then you know, I wasn't black enough. I spoke a certain way, I dressed a certain way, and I was kind of like off put in that culture as well, and in that home too. Like, it was just a lot of crazy things in that home that kind of messed up my identity even more. I lived there for a couple of months, went through some like molestation things going on there, had to leave, asked my social worker to take me to another home, and I bounced around a couple of times. Again, like, same thing, never, wherever I went I couldn't fit in. I would go to a school, get comfortable, like, all right, this is a good look, and then I would have to leave. So I went to like 4 or 5 different schools. Then I finally moved to a city with like step family in Southgate, and I lived there from like 11 to 19.
Okay.
And it was a Hispanic community and it's his Salvadorian family, so they took care of me, and I was
Is
there
that where you learn how to speak Spanish?
Absolutely.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's super dope.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not fire that you had to experience that, but it's dope that you learned, you know, a different language. That's fire.
There's a silver lining in it all. You know, you just got to see it. And, you know, growing up, I couldn't see it. I just knew that I was afflicted with this label of being a foster kid, and it took me a long time to kind of understand the power that I had.
It's the trauma.
Yeah.
Like, because I experienced that too. Now I'm realizing the power behind all of my experiences. But as you're going through them, or after you come out of them, it's kind of like, dang, why I have to go through that?
Yeah.
And so everything you see is with the vision of that negative experience. So it's kind of like hard to get your mind out of it.
Exactly.
But it's good that you found it. That's
Oh,
dope.
yeah. It was
Okay. So this is a question, a social worker question, because I retired as a social worker.
And congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So did you age out, get adopted, or get emancipated from the system?
I aged out.
Okay.
And emancipated. Yeah. So I up to 18, 19, it was time for me to, you know, figure out what I was going to do, and I emancipated out of it.
What's that process like for somebody to have to emancipate?
A couple of not a couple of classes, like maybe like I think it was like 2 months worth of classes I had to do. A lot of meetings with social workers and ILP coordinators, but you know, it's pretty long. It's not easy, and there's not a lot of support for after, especially like a lot of us that go through the system and are emancipating. We're forced to emancipate. We don't have a cushion to fall back on. Like, for me, my family was kind of like, you're in college, you got a car, you're doing okay, it's time for you to fly the coop. And, you know, 18, 19, you're never ready just to go out on your own unless like you have that support and you've been like groomed to be ready.
Right.
So for me, it was like, all right, I just got to figure it out. And I, you know, had to.
That's crazy, because you have to be an adult before you're ready to be an adult.
Exactly.
Like, and not just an adult, because we say, oh, I'm grown when I'm 18. But no, you're not really grown until you know how to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
And at that age, you're not ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how. You got to learn how to take care of yourself.
Right.
You know, a lot of us ain't taught how to do that.
Yeah.
Even though we go through life skills program all the time, it's like that's not the only way to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you make that transition into music?
Yeah. Good transition point. So for me, it was like I was living in Southgate and still experiencing that same kind of like discrimination, because again, these people were my step family, the Salvadorian family I stayed with. They loved me, but like the city was just like all Hispanic. So I would go, my mom would go ask me to go get leche for her, and I would get looked. And I just like was experiencing all this other stuff. When I moved to Southgate for the first time, I got to meet some of my brothers and sisters that I had never met. So when I was in Southgate, it was like a really changing point for me. I began to feel burdened because my brothers and sisters were going through things that I had no control. I couldn't help them. So I had like this burden to like help my city and my family be better than what they could. And I took that on, and you know, I was going through my own trauma, depression. And I was going to church at the time too, all Hispanic church, by the way. So I had to learn Spanish due to my environment. So I went there, and like I just had this moment with God where I was like, yo, I need you in a realist way, because if I don't get you in a realist way, I don't know if I'm going to become another statistic like everything I'm seeing around me. So he met me there, and that kind of like put me on my musical journey. Like when I was 16, 17, I got saved, and that started my musical journey.
Dope.
Yeah.
And I mean, my mind just going, because you found God in a place where your language was, your first language was not it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's powerful. Yeah. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you know music was something that you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, music was everything. Like even growing up as a kid and, you know, living with Brenda for the first 8 years, she would always play K-Earth 101 and like, you know, play all those oldies, and that music kind of moved me to, to kind of see past my situation and escape it a little bit. So
Yeah.
music was always a thing that kept me going. So when I started like writing music on my own when I was 16, 17, 18, it did something for me that nothing else did besides my faith in God, which was give me a release from all this trauma and conditioning I was experiencing.
Yeah.
It let me know that I can be something. And I also started seeing the way that my writing and poetry and music started to affect the people around me. Like there was positives from me doing my music and, you know, just writing and just, you know, just showing people that there was a different way. And I was like, all right, this is something I really want to do, and I feel like it's something I can do.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
Man, hey, so this show tonight is about to be fire. So y'all stay tuned. But we're going to listen to this next song by Michael. He just dropped the visual for this song called Backflip.
Yup.
So y'all tap into that. We'll be right back.
Yup.
I need all my ops out the way, doing backflips. Girl, that man lying on you like a mattress. Blessings falling down, better catch it, girl. Everything you do is high fashion. Goddamn the whole package. He a dead man, he a casket. Baby girl, what you asking? I need all my ops out the way, doing. I need all my ops out the way, doing backflips. I need all my ops out the way, doing. Ops out the way, doing. Yeah, hot boy, I don't need to take a top off. It's the real deal, ain't a knockoff. Keep the chains on, but the locks off. Always gotta ride when it pop off. Stand in the mirror like you got it. You a goat, no debating who stop it. Ex tryna block it. Girl, you a west side thing, better tell them thug like Tupac it. God in your jeans, new pockets. New level, new devil, new monsters. And you back to slave. Stand for your people like Esther. Energy staying on Tesla. And you don't fall for the extra. Know that the treasure's inside of your chest, yeah. War for your love like Leonidas. Shorty so bad she taint lightning. She got the touch like the Midas. Trapping for soul like she Bryson. He tell you lies with the same lips he kiss you goodnight with. Legendary sound, biting off your ear like Tyson. And you don't need a reason. Killing all summer, all fall, all winter, all spring. Girl, you don't even need a season.
Damn, you fine?
I need all my ops out the way, doing backflips. Girl, that man lying on you like a mattress. Blessings falling down, better catch it, girl. Everything you do is high fashion. Goddamn the whole package. He a dead man, he a casket. Real deal, ain't a catfish. I need all my ops out the way, doing. I need all my ops out the way, doing. I need all my ops out the way, doing. Yeah, ops out the way, doing. Shawty got the bond, got the Taliban, yeah, she got the calico. Real powerful, yeah, I need some ill sauce to go with my Cali roll. Lil A curry mixed with some amber rolls. Yeah, she got me through the running man. It's a whole queen, do you understand? She ain't folding for a couple bands. Whole life worth is 100 times 100 times 100 times 100 bands. What can I say? I have been fasting. Anthony Gray, solidify clay. I'm in the ring like I'm Cassius. They call me captain. He on the rocks like a Patrick. Baby a star and she gassing. Run your own biz, cook your own meals and you do your own taxes. You can quote Proverbs, Hamlet and Savage. She got the vision like Cartier glasses. And I pull up with a lemon berry. You know the night gon' be legendary. Like where the party at? Walk up in the room and give you cardiac. I need all my ops out the way doing backflips. Girl, that man lying on you like a mattress. Blessings falling down, better catch it.
You are tuned in to Touch the World Radio Show. In case you're just joining us, we are joined in studio with our special guest, Mike Cole.
Yeah, what's poppin'?
Yeah, so Mike Cole, we're gonna go back to the conversation because I want to talk about like how you come from the foster care system.
Yeah.
And so, did you feel supported in your music journey when you first started?
Yes and no, right?
Okay.
So like I had like a cool community of people that like supported my transition to do positive, you know, just like live different. And in that I found support for my music. But you know, my family, they wasn't really rocking with it at first. They didn't understand it. Even because, you know, I started off doing like Christian hip hop, you feel me?
Okay.
So like even the church I was at, like they was not with it, you know, at all. So I only had support in this small pocket of community that I had. Yeah.
Okay, how'd you expand that?
By just performing, this spot out here in LA, Inglewood, actually, Club Judah was like a big spot that I got plugged in the community a lot more. Like, they supported me and a couple other brothers that was young and doing it tremendously. Like, they gave us a platform, they plugged us in with other resources, and in there I met a lot of people that really gravitated towards what we were doing, and rocking to this day.
Okay, can we talk a little bit about Green Pine? I didn't put that in the questions, but I want to talk about them because just the mission that they're on is something that I think is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know for a fact that Green Pines is run by Dina and Terry Green. Their whole mission is to make sure that youth who have been in the system, in any kind of system, are compensated for their gifts and talents, and that they can be empowered and inspired to go out and pursue these things, and they do that in a variety of ways. Like, they have some musical compilations where you can submit songs to, and you can get paid if you submit a song, get your publishing and all that. They also work with graphic artists, producers, singers, songwriters, all that stuff. So
how'd you link up with them?
Through my church in Long Beach, Antioch.
Nice.
I met Dina there, and she was working with my wife Danielle on some journal covers.
Okay.
So after that, me and Anthony Gray linked with her, and it was just history from there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any music in the works right now?
Yes, a lot of music in the works.
Yeah.
2 things going on right now. So I'm working on my next single. It's called OnlyFans. It should be coming out like within the month of September. It's just a song about how a young guy who loves God but is also in love with this, or infatuated with this girl, and he's doing his best to kind of like balance that. The other things that I'm doing right now is with my crew, Legendary Minds. We're putting out some singles. So I got a song with my boy Alpha called Hype Man coming out like in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where can people find what you have already? Like what kind of, first of all, hold on. What have you released recently that the people need to know about?
Yeah, so Backflip is my most recent single. It's a vibey party song. It's a banger of a way to end the summer. So I encourage everybody to get that. It's out everywhere: Spotify, Apple, Tidal, SoundCloud. You can find it under Michael, Mikol.
Okay.
Yep. And then we just released another single, me and Anthony Gray, called Way Back. It was played earlier. That's a fire song. And I got, from there you can go into the archives and see what else we got.
Dope.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell us, like, what's your mission? What's your mission behind what you do?
Yeah. My mission is simply to inspire, right? I want my music to inspire people, and I want the art behind the music to challenge people. I want to tell stories that go unheard. I want to help people like change their perspective on things. I feel like we live in a very binary world and culture right now, and I like to be someone who stands in the middle and be a bridge. And I feel like that is my essence of the music. Even with Backflip, like the song that we released is a very uplifting song, but the visual is detailing a different kind of story.
Yeah.
So I like to do that type of duality in my music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What kind of adversity have you had to face during this musical journey?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. And a lot of it was trauma that I obtained through foster care. The biggest thing, I feel like the biggest dent that the foster care system dealt me was like my lack of identity. I did not know who I was, or how to reconcile who I was due to the situations I went through that were out of my control. So with my musical journey, like, it played into that too. Like, I found myself struggling to find my voice, find my sound, find my demographic and pocket of people who I could really speak to. Always trying to compare myself to other artists, and that was like one of the biggest struggles. And I've had to learn over time that all of that is cool because you can do trial and error, but for me, I just had to really lean into who I am and my story and the uniqueness of it. I really didn't believe in it for a long time because I didn't think it would work. And then I started seeing it work, and it opened up doors.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Who inspires you as an artist to be who you are?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say there's a couple of different music acts that I look up to. The people that I rock with are one, Legendary Minds. Like, they continually to inspire me to be a better artist. I rock with I don't know if you know an artist named Kimbra.
No.
She's a singer, inspires me. This little group from South Africa called the Arrows.
Ooh.
Love their music. They inspired me like to have a different kind of perspective on culture. I love J. Cole. J. Cole's my guy. I rock with him.
Yeah.
Drake, I've followed Drake's come up from Room for Improvement. Triple E was a guy that really inspired me to do music too. And right now it's kind of I don't really listen to a lot of music, but I just try to be as knowledgeable of what's out as possible,
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you find that voice? You said you had to go through a process where you had to find your voice and not compare yourself. When did you find that voice?
I feel like I'm still finding that voice, but I found that voice more like maybe 2017, 2018, a little bit after I got married, and I had chilled on really doing music like that, and I just took some time to really understand my writing ability and my skill, and it was many conversations with God and people around me that encouraged me to continue to just seek and search, because even now I'm still finding that voice, and I feel like I'm more content now than where I was before, because I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm not beating myself over the head that I haven't done it or I haven't arrived yet. I've arrived somewhere, and I'm continually seeking what the next level looks like.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a family, right?
Yes.
What pushes you to be the best parent that you could possibly be? Because I know that has to be a tough situation.
Yeah.
Can be scary.
Yeah, very scary, very scary. But I think the thing that pushes me is the fact that I didn't have that growing up, the fact that I didn't have a father growing up. That's what pushes me to do the best that I can, because I know that I can't let my little girl down or my wife down, because it's easy to do that. It's easy to fall into a pit of, despair or depression or oppression, just because of what we didn't have and what we're conditioned to be. So the fact that I didn't have that has been pushing me to just really be not only what I didn't have, but more than what I didn't have. Yeah.
Okay. So I know I've been looking you up, so I know your wife is your stylist.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Yeah. So me and my wife, we were friends. I'll tell you the whole quick story real quick.
What's her name?
Her name is Danielle.
All right.
Yeah. Also,
shout out Danielle.
Shout out Danielle, aka She Speaks. We met in a transitional housing program.
Wow.
Back in 2011.
Okay.
So we met there. We had been friends for 5-6 years, and then bam, we got married, right?
Yeah.
She's a creative too, so she does spoken word. She does write. She writes. She's trying to write a book. So she's always been into styling. So over the last 4 or 5 years, she's really discovered her knack for styling, and it just kind of happened naturally. She was always supportive of my music journey, even when I wasn't supportive of it. She'd always encourage me, and she just helped me to get fresh all the time, and it just happened organically as she became more of the stylist that she wanted to be. It just happened naturally.
Is there any projects that you guys work on or will work on together, as far as her spoken word and your music?
Yeah, we worked on we're in the process of working on a couple of things. She's actually on a version of my new single that's going to come out, that's going to eventually be on a project.
Nice.
We worked, it's hard to work with your partner in that capacity sometimes, but we've got a couple of things in the works.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, so we're gonna take our final break. Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna listen to No Distractions by Mike Cole.
Hey.
So don't get distracted, stay tuned.
Yeah, focus.
Eyes on a miss, yeah. Take my time, can't right my wrongs with a kiss, yeah. Can't get froze, don't need no ice on my wrist, yeah. Watch for the snakes, talk they talk with a hiss. Black mamba, I can't miss, yeah. Eyes on a miss, yeah. Big man talk, life on switch. Vibes on lit, I'm on rich, cause I exist. These distractions got my heart on rip, yeah. Wake up, I fall in my phone. God called my name, I said yo. She hit my line, she said slide. Can't put no lies on my soul. I I don't wanna fade away, but you cannot sit on my throne. This might be my only shot left, and if I gotta go, I gotta go. Yeah, on my soul, had my armor on since I on the road. Who really down the roll? I'm on roll. Distractions ain't take a toll. Wait, nigga died. I came back, hit and slide. Dealing with a high one, get inspired. Work on the sound, get it right, gotta get it tight. You tryna play me, you so like JD. Don't sell out, just pay me. Keeping it wavy, gotta buzz up like Jay-Z. Yeah. Eyes on the mesh, yeah. Take my time, can't write my wrongs with a kiss. Yeah, can't get froze, don't need no ice on my wrist. Yeah, watch for the snakes, talk they talk with a hiss. Black mamba, I can't miss. Yeah, eyes on the bitch. Yeah, big man talk like on Swish. Vibes on lit, I'm on rich, cause I exist. Yeah, these distractions got my heart on red. Yeah, young Lord with the big talk. Had to slide on the slick talk. Give the fam legs, make the house move. Crib walk, make them tick-tock. Can't keep the Phoenix in bird box. I got folks who serve rocks, just survive. Killed all my beats, slide in the kitchen with first socks. Velcro, goes to my shell toes. I'm in my bag like white girls on Melrose. Switching to cell phones. Breaking the pattern, thirsty and scattered. Bit on the ladder, now I'm on Saturn. Off of the chatter, dreams getting fatter. Looking so better away. Melody out the mud, I got me a Roddy Rich. EST in 89, but I play the game like Jordan in the 96. There's a little gold inside of us, I got the horns for it. Yeah, nigga about to blow, listen, got the horns for it. I done walked 1,000 miles, yeah, I got the souls for it. Yeah, Tanjiro, I'm a demon slayer. Adios, I see you later. PTH, you might see the Vader. I got some friends, I need some haters. Jesus even needed Judas. It's the only way that we can beat the hate. Like, this might be my only shot left, and if I gotta go, I gotta. Top down, I'm riding with the cops round. Shot down while my brother's getting popped down. Sasuke, the village put a killer in my ways. Not today, yeah, eyes on the mesh. I'm tryna build somebody, I'm tryna be the fight, cause I can't lose nobody else.
You are tuned in to Touch the World Radio Show, Season 2, Episode 1 of the Out of the Box Podcast Edition. We are joined in studio with our special guest, Mike Cole.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about your work, the work that you do outside of music.
Yeah.
You're a social worker as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I'm a particular kind of social worker. I work with homeless youth. A youth care specialist is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been working with the homeless population for about, dang, it's been a minute, since like 2018.
Nice.
So like 3 years now. Yeah, so what I do is I help youth, and well, I was working with single adults, but now I just work with youth and I help them find housing, resources, basically anything that can help them to become stable and, you know, pursue the passions and, you know, career choices that they want to.
Yeah. Okay, so like with this work, because obviously you're coming from experience.
Yeah.
How do you use your experience to help these youth?
Oh, it's all hard. You feel me? Like a lot of times, and there's a lot of good, you know, case managers out there, right, that have heart. But for me, I feel like what I feel like sets me apart a lot of times in the different nonprofits I work for is the fact that I can relate to the youth, right? I can relate to going through the system. So the moment that I let them know what I've been through, they let their guards down. So I'm sure you know, a lot of times the youth, they have their guards up, but they walk into the offices and sit with a case manager, you know, because they just don't know what to expect.
Right.
So for me, I just try to, you know, be vulnerable and transparent as much as I can. And that usually lets their guards down, and then we can work on, you know, whatever they're trying to work on. Yeah.
What's the toughest part about doing the work?
It could be overwhelming at times, you know. A lot of the youth, they come from a lot of different crazy situations, you know. And sometimes as a caseworker that works with a program, your hands can be tied, you know, on what you can actually do. And that becomes frustrating, overwhelming. You gotta jump through a bunch of loops just to get one resource done. And it could be very frustrating, and then you get frustrated too. So that probably is like my biggest challenge with that.
Can you give like, it don't have to be an in-depth example, but just like an example of like those roadblocks that you've run against? And I'll share one of myself too, because I've been in social work as well.
Yeah. I feel like the most fresh one on my mind is I was helping a youth get into a permanent supportive housing unit, and they got matched. And they really needed it, but the application process just made it super difficult for them to get in. Like, they needed like 3 or 4 homeless verifications. They, needed the youth to come in and sign stuff. The youth lives like, 15 miles away. It's like, it's just a lot of stuff. And, I was trying to advocate for the youth. I advocated for like 3 months, and it ended up falling through because of all the roadblocks. So it was frustrating.
Did anything happen to that youth? Did he eventually, or he or she, find their way?
Still working. Yeah. That housing unit that they really needed it. They couldn't get in because of all those roadblocks and the barriers they had. But we're still working to find some things out for that. Yeah.
So for me, I had this one youth. He was 14. He was 14 years old. Had some mental health issues, gang involved, that type of thing. And so for me, I have a way of reaching those type of youth, the ones who are like the outcast, the one who like nobody really wants to deal with them. So I kind of built a relationship, but I was trying to get him housing as well. He was going from like group home to group home, that type of thing. He couldn't stay with his parents because it's kind of like safety issues or whatnot. And so it was like impossible to find him a place. It was like every time you go to a place, they kick him out. And then you go to another place, they kick him out. And so he needed some mental health services, which is why I'm an advocate for mental health, because people don't understand mental health and how it affects someone. So they think, oh, you bad or you're just crazy. And it's like, no, there's some heart behind it. You know what I'm saying? You got to find it. So I wasn't able to get him any placement or whatever. He just kept running away. And so for me, that work is very tough because I put my heart into it, like you said. And so when I'm doing that, then it's like if I have to cut my heart out, I can't do the job fully. So it's just kind of difficult. So I definitely sympathize with that situation, because it's like, how are we supposed to save the youth if nobody's willing to save the youth?
Exactly.
Like there's money out there for these housing projects, and it's like you find a way where that child can't get the help, and it's like, oh well, this is going to be a revolving door, but we don't open a door so it doesn't have to revolve.
Exactly.
So that was part of the reason why I had to let that go, because I really want to be impactful for these kids. So okay, so we're gonna get back to the artistry. What's the most important lesson you've learned from your artistry?
I've learned a lot of lessons. I feel like the most important one would be to be transparent and vulnerable through my art. I feel like, and I feel like that kind of helped mold my particular brand of music, letting people see the flaws, the challenges, the struggles that I came up with. It helped build a demographic and a fan base. Not only that, but it was helping people, besides me trying to do turn up music or whatever the popular sound is. Like, whenever I got into bags of like just being super vulnerable with my struggles and issues and what I was going through, it allowed me to really find my space in music. So I had a conversation with my man Anthony Gray when we were like 22, 21, and he was like, bro, you need to like stop trying to be like these other guys you look up to, and just be you and tell your story and make it as transparent as possible. So
what advice would you give to someone who's looking to do their artistry?
Same thing, just be themselves to the fullest. Everybody has a story, and I know a lot of us sometimes we don't feel like our stories are unique or special or can be told a certain way, but everybody has a story, and your story is super important. And I would tell that person, or just people in general, like, find what it is that you're good at and amplify that to the max. Own it, live it, tell your story through whatever type of art form you're doing in a meaningful and high quality way.
Okay, so what was your process like when you started writing, like when you learned to write music? How do you process, like how do you go through your process?
For me, it's a lot, because for me, because I talk about deep subject matter sometimes, I had to really dig into those parts of my life that I had locked away for so long. So like sitting for like meditating for like maybe 10-15 minutes before I start actually writing and putting the pen to the pad.
Okay.
It's super helpful. And then just kind of like my homeboy Anthony Gray, you know, kind of gave me a formula that I still use to this day, which is like the origin, transition, and conclusion, which is just, you know, talking about the beginning of your story, going to that transition part, and then concluding it. The beginning can be as captivating as it needs to be, but the middle part can be as horrific as it needs to be. But circling back to the end of it, just bringing purpose and meaning to that blends it all together. So I wrote like that for some time, and now I've just learned how to do that in free form ways. Yeah.
Okay. You said earlier in the interview that your family wasn't really as supportive, and they couldn't see what you was doing.
Yeah.
Do they see it now?
Yeah, they do. And it was more so the older generation of my family.
Gotcha.
Like my brothers and sisters, they were always supportive, and my cousins. But you know, the older generation didn't get it. You know, one, because I was doing it for God, they couldn't really see that, you know, hip hop and godly living can go together. So I was like, you know, trying to be a catalyst for that type of music in my home, in my city. And they eventually came around, you know, as they saw that it actually was progressing and that it had some merit. They came around and started supporting. All
right. So we're not gonna ask for a freestyle, but I really wanted to ask for one. But I want to hear you for like the next maybe 5 minutes or so. Just flow some stuff that you have in your catalog, and just give them a taste of who Mike Cole is.
For sure. I'll do a piece first that I always kind of do to open up my sets. It's called Say What's Real, and I'm just talking about my story. So I'll go like this. I've been taking one day at a time just to stay on my grind. And as I flip through every page in my mind, and I find the more that I press through, that I rewind back all that I've been through. Cause see, I was in a maze, lost in a maze, confused with no aim, no path, and no way. And life was just a game I played with no save. If I lost it all, then it's back to the first stage. But the first stage always is the worst phase. Thinking of my worst days, remember all my church days. Where on Sunday they claiming that the church saves, but then on Monday living in they cursed ways. Who am I to judge, though I know what the words say? Still on my sin like a white tee with a dirt stain. See, I was thirsting for more, was searching, wait for it to come like that day after Thursday, and they go was for dough. So my homies, they serve yay, and I try to give them hope just until the worst phase, you know, help them out until they find they focus. How you bring hope when you the one who's hopeless, grew up homeless. If you didn't know this, lived in different homes but never knew what home is. Yeah, I had a soul but I felt so soulless, heart stained with pain from times of being broken. And I swear these girls, they would have made me lose it. Looking for a queen, but never did the shoe fit. Was I destined to be alone cause nobody was there? Looking for that love but nobody would care. Yeah, I had life with nobody to share. Like I was just a head with nobody, just air. I gave my life to people but no party was fair. Rest in peace, I love my moms, but she hardly was there. Could've turned to God, he probably was there. But my heart was too dark and too hardy and scared to change. And listen, I ain't trying to complain. I just want to let you know that I've been through some things, and they say that everything is a purpose. I'm just praying when I get there it'll all be worth it. And as my days get colder, I will stand bolder, cause I know I'm getting closer. So can I say it was real? Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, you got another one?
Yeah, I got a couple. This is a joint I did for Green Pines. I'll spit that real quick. Mama said, go ahead, dream and be something. Mama said, don't have to see something. And mama said, before you leave something. Mama's dead, know my life had to mean something. I am a seed that was sown. Deep watch me grow through the weeds and the thorns. And I will not be stunned by the dark shade. Rain on, this is God's rain. I am not a victim. Break apart the system. Start tripping and watch your mind catch a sentence. Whoa, turn around, we can see the burning village. Blame the little boy with the gun when we all did it. Narrative of a black man trying to love the cops. And I can name a few black men that wasn't shot. Run the block, pull up their phone just to watch us kill ourselves and tell us that we gotta heal ourselves. Or look a racist in the face with love. This ain't a game. Was touched as a child, and yeah, I ain't ashamed. Don't complain when you trying to be the part. Live with your heart open just so they can see the art. It ain't designer. You busted and dirty, you still rock it. You know it's real when you don't have it, but still got it. And see, I gave you that ring for a reason. You're the only one I still believe in. Yeah, said I gave you that ring for a reason. You're the only one I still believe in. I gave you that ring for a reason. You're the only one I still believe in. God's voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
I could do one more.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, this is more Bari. This is off of a new single that Legendary Minds about to put out. It's called Hype Man. I said, big man talking, I'm doing my thing. Crew with me, we too insane. From LA where they popping them things. Angels and stars linked with the demons for clout and the fame. Yeah. Red clouds killing the hype man. Need a sponsor from Hype Land. Like, oh yeah, I gotta get up and get it. All of my dogs is with it. All of my dogs is went to the dark side for a self-feed and came back with a wizard. We are not talking about Quidditch. All of my verses are tinted, reversing the limits like, oh, okay, hot sauce in a fanny pack, body parts in a trash bag, bad thoughts in a flash bag, flash drives couldn't cap that, used to get around like cat stacks, wide eye like cat Dennis back was trying to marry me a cat gram like, oh, needed a hype ting. Someone with lightning. I married a Cancer or a Pisces. Don't indict me. We was born in the 90s. I'm a hype beast. I'm a star that's aligning. Someone like me is unlikely. Listen, I got some ghosts in my closet. Can't say nothing about it. Shh. They bad and they bougie. The way that they wear my fits, I can tell they exotic. Don't do rocks like Onyx. Starving plate on tectonic. Thicker than water, I'm covered in blood. Swimming in the darkness, smothered in love. Got took a L and made it a 7, dog. The knife on my back and made it a weapon, dog. Yeah, I'm good with the 3 like my man Stephen, dog. Yeah, ain't for the head, sending it back to your side like Steppenwolf. Yeah.
Hey, y'all. So y'all hear these flows. Y'all hear these flows. This is live. This is live. You know, check out his catalog.
Yeah.
Tell them where they can find you, and I might have you do one more if you got one more.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere under Michael. That's Mikol. I'm on all streaming platforms. Social media, you can find me at Michael Mikol X Muse Michael X Muse. I'm everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Let's go. Hit them with one more. Come on.
Let me see if I got this one. Yeah, back in it. I'm back and I'm passionate, yeah. It wasn't an accident, ain't for the head like I'm putting an accident. We got the throne for whoever is asking it, yeah. Bringing that hype like I'm ad-libbing. Bringing the doom like I'm mad-libbing. Whoa, went from shopping at Payless, copping no rating. Lightning till I'm bossing Paydens. All-American kind of coach, went from rag to riches like my name is Tadix. Sold the slain and I couldn't change it. Boy, hotter than the soul from Hades. Waist been straight like I'm laced with braces. Training daily like I play with Lakers. Life's a trip if they only knew. Metal on me like my name is Cooler. Steven Una with the verses, but I'm Big Daddy like I'm Steven Scuba. Word of mouth like I hang with Luda. Gang with me and I came with shooters. Know what I'm saying? Ain't no Sailor Moonin'. Whoa. That's it.
Fire. Fire. All right, y'all. So, look. We just tapped in with the man, Mikol. Y'all check out his catalog. I want him to tell y'all one more time before we wrap up where y'all can find him, so y'all can check out his music. He got some new stuff coming out, so keep up with him too. And he might just perform at one of our events when coming up soon. So y'all stay tapped in.
Yeah, stay tapped in. Again, I'm on all social media platforms under at Michael X Muse, Mikol X Muse. On all streaming platforms, it's Michael Mikol. And I got some events coming up. You can also find most of my music on legendaryminds.com. And we got a new single coming out this month called OnlyFans, and it's gonna be a vibe.
Yeah. So y'all get tapped in with that. But we're gonna wrap up the show this evening. Thank you all for tuning in on the show with our in-studio guest, Mikol. We appreciate you for coming through.
Oh, off top.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We hope you guys enjoyed the show, but before we head out, please check out my website at jgotsoul.com. We have so much valuable content for you to check out. We also have merchandise for you to purchase as well, which serves as a reminder that Black Money Matters. Act like it. Be sure to get caught up on episodes 1 through 14 and season 1, and stay up to date on all episodes from season 2. Head over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and check out my handle at jgotsoul. We'll have all episodes on there, so y'all be sure to check that out. And we'll be back in studio next month sometime, or at the end of this month, so we're not sure, but y'all just stay tapped in, because I come and do what I do. So be sure to tune in, and y'all have a great evening. We are out.
Peace.
I just came from the block. Knew I had a